We are only a few days away from the Quantum Leap Intensive. I'm so excited about that. And so today I'm going to discuss how to plan for your quantum leap. So, again, a few things you need to know. I've already gone over these, but I'm going to review them again. I'm going to go over them quickly before we really get into how you plan and how you prep yourself to experience a quantum leap. One is that you have to be willing to face your inner world and your capacity to change. You must be willing to change. If you are not willing to change your circumstance, then your circumstance is not going to change. So that means being willing and ready to let go. That means being willing and ready to face an ego death or a shift in your identity, how you perceive and how you see yourself. A significant quantum leap is going to bring you from one capacity of your understanding of who you believe yourself to be into another completely different and shifted capacity and understanding of who you are in this world and what your potential is. So think about it like this. Like who you were when you were 18 is not who you are now. So a lot of people want to resist themselves and want to resist the idea of change, mostly because they have this really strong, deeply rooted attachment to their personality and who they think they are. And so what I can share with you from shifting my name from Samantha and going to Sitara, which is not an experience that I took lightly by any means. I sat on that name. The name was given to me when I started channeling light language. It was very clear, very concise, very directed. I sat on it for about 10 months until I helped a friend deliver a baby at home in Bali, and there was something that shifted through me through that experience to start going by the name Sitara. When that happened, there was a period of time where I had no association to the name Samantha because to be honest, it hadn't resonated for a very long time, and that alone was a very kind of confusing thing. Right? Like my name was just not quite clicking for me anymore. And I was like, what is going on? This doesn't make sense. This has never happened. I've never understood this to be a thing. And so then when I started going by Sitara, that also hadn't yet clicked. And so because that hadn't yet clicked yet, there was a period of time where I was walking through life with the disillusionment, dissolving any egoic attachment I had to the identity of Samantha and also to the identity of Sitara. There was a clearing out and kind of a purging experience that happened, but simultaneously what was happening to my mind and my connection to who I believed myself to be. I knew that was evolving. I knew that was changing. Before I even went to Bali, I knew there was a part of me deep inside that wanted to emerge, and it wanted to emerge without the idea or the mirrors or the reflections of the people who I had grown up with or who had known me for a very long time. There was just a deep internal knowing that a part of me needed to emerge. And if I was surrounded by people who had known me for 10, 20, however many years, then their identity of who they believe me to be being projected into my field and into my space wouldn't allow me to fully embody what the energy and the consciousness of as my soul connection truly is and truly was. It was a beyond profound experience that I wish for everybody, truly. And even then, coming back to my hometown and visiting family, I didn't see my family for 4 years during the pandemic. It was a very strange situation. And so coming back and having this new embodied awareness and new embodied identity has been also a very interesting experience. But I'm sharing these stories with you by means of letting you know what it means to shift through an ego death, what it means to shift through an identity. Have you ever thought yourself different than the label of your name? Right? We can take off the labels of how people see us, sister, wife, brother, husband, teacher, all these things. But have you ever thought to shift the awareness out of the identity and the label of your name? That for me was something that was just mind-blowing in that experience, and also started evoking a major cataclysm to a quantum leap that landed me in Dubai after Bali. So there's also something that, like in modern day Western cultures, it's not common to change your name. In a lot of other cultures, it actually is common to have name changes through the time of your life. Here it's like, you know, who do they think they are? And there's all these like weird judgments around it. But really, when you shift the identity of your name, it's like a rite of passage. And that rite of passage offers you clarity to experiences that you hadn't had before. And so when you identify and you attach yourself to a deep trauma and a deep wounding, that deep trauma and that deep wounding starts to develop your identity of how you see yourself. Well, I had this experience, so I can only do X, Y, Z. Well, I have this trauma, so it stunts me from this. I have this blah, and it keeps me from this. You see where I'm going with this? And so when we dissolve and we release the trauma, the identity of how we see ourselves shifts and it changes. Not everyone is ready for this. Not everyone is willing to face those parts of ourselves that have committed to holding on to these stories that have been keeping us stuck or stagnant, sometimes for decades, not even just for days or months or years, sometimes for decades. And so when we're preparing ourselves for a quantum leap, it's really important to be willing and to be ready to shift the identity of how we see ourselves. No longer the victim, no longer the villain in someone's story. We have to forgive these experiences. Forgiveness dissolves and liquefies hardened edges and transmutes them and releases them out of your field and out of your space. It's wildly, wildly powerful frequency. So when we choose to continue to embody the frequency of forgiveness, we are choosing to continue to release karmic bonds, karmic attachments. I like to think of forgiveness sometimes as like holding on to the rope in tug of war. And if you're holding on to that rope and you choose to let go, you're no longer hurting yourself. And so you let go of the bond, you let go of the attachment, you let go of, that mulling over in your head or the dwelling in your heart. You actually give yourself that permission to release it. So forgiveness is a key element to quantum leaping. It is a key element to curating and cultivating a massive shift from where it is that you are now into the direction of where it is that you want to go. So with that, my dears, I invite you once more to our Quantum Leap Intensive. It's going to start this Monday. So it's really important that you register today at monadsociety.com/QLI. We keep it very simple and very short. monadsociety.com/QLI. That's a Quantum Leap Intensive. I invite you to join us. I invite you to come play. And with that, I just want you to know that I absolutely love and adore you. Thank you for being here with me today. If you're looking for a transmission, go ahead and you can find the playlists of Light Code Boost, daily transmissions, where we actually go through a lot of the light language and clearing. Now in the Quantum Leap Intensive, we are going to go deep, really, really, really deep, to do some deep clearing and deep excavating to support you in your evolution to becoming the person that you know you're destined to become in the way that you want to become that. So with that, my sweet love, I absolutely adore you. I'll look forward to seeing you hopefully on Monday. Otherwise, I'll see you here on YouTube again soon. Ciao, ciao.